Thank you, and always great to be here in Phoenix, where it goes without saying that we have so many people that have done so much to support our university. And I know that most of you, if not all of you, have either attended the University of Arizona, and certainly you wouldn't be here tonight unless you really supported the Wildcats. So thank you for everything that you do, and hopefully us driving up here tonight and spending some time shows you how much you really do, in fact, mean to all of us. The recap of our season, and that's what I'll do first. It feels like it, in one sense, it ended a year ago, and in another sense, it feels like yesterday, depending on what you want to do. I can't say that. I may get fined. I've already given my money. But I'm very proud of this past year. You know, we had a very unique team, and one of the things that I've come to realize, especially this spring, is it's really going to be, I think, the teams of the future in college basketball. And what you do is you combine an influx of new players, and sometimes more than you even realize because of circumstances, and hopefully they combine with some veteran players that have been through the wars and the battles. And that's what this team this past year was about. We had 3 seniors, Kevin Parham, Solomon Hill, and Mark Lyons. Mark was a newcomer, joining us for just 1 year. But Solomon and Kevin, I'm proud to tell you, will walk next week for graduation, and we're proud of those guys. But I don't know if a group has ever meant more to me as a coach, because Solomon Hill was the first player that we recruited as a staff at Arizona, and he believed in me and believed in us before he ever watched anything occur between Arizona and our staff. And to watch him progress into an all Pac-12 player and a leader and leave with his college degree is very meaningful. I think all of us really appreciate Kevin Parham. I don't know, again, if I've ever coached anyone who's overcome more adversity in his own life off the court, much of which he had nothing to do with. And yet there he was at the end through injuries and all of the things to, again, get his degree. If you remember, he actually committed to Xavier. He was going to play for me at Xavier. So when you think of Solomon Hill and Kevin Parham, it was those 2 guys that really started things off for us. And then, you know, that 3rd senior, Mark Lyons, for somebody to believe in us and come in his 1 year that he has left and do it here in the West Coast as part of the Pac-12 in Arizona. He's from New York, Schenectady, New York. If you've ever been there, it's much different than where we're at right now. So it's those guys that I really think of about last year's team. They led us, and they set the tone for a lot. And with the newcomers, obviously we lost Grant. He declared for the NBA draft, and I wish him nothing but the best. He's an incredible kid with a bright future. You can make the debate whether he should stay or not, but part of what I hope you understand about college basketball is it's going to change a lot whether we like it or not. Instead of complaining about it, we have to adjust. And that means more recruiting and making sure that we educate these guys on the front end as best we can, so that when their time comes, that they have all the information necessary to make a good decision on whether to leave or stay. But we wish Grant nothing but the best. In terms of moving forward, we have a couple new players, 2 McDonald's All-Americans, Aaron Gordon and Rondé Jefferson. I think you'll love both of them. But we also have 3 other players that sometimes is lost in the shuffle. Elliot Pitts comes from De La Salle High School in Northern California, plays for one of the great basketball coaches in that state, Frank Alaco. And Elliot's going to be one of those players that's going to have a real impact, maybe not at the beginning, but you're going to love the way he grows and plays as part of our program. And then we had 2 redshirt players, TJ McConnell, who has a great opportunity to be our point guard. TJ led the nation, was 3rd in the nation in steals as a sophomore. So he brings kind of a defensive tenacity to us. He's a true quarterback. And the other guy is a big fella named Matt Korchek, who came from a junior college. He's from Tucson, about 6'9", plays really hard. And again, I think he'll give us some much needed depth up front. So once again, when I talk about the future, you're always going to welcome a group a larger group almost every year because of the turnover, and yet they're going to combine with those players like Brandon Ashley and Caleb Tarzuski, Nick Johnson, who I think has a chance to be an all-conference player next year. And I hope that it'll lead to yet another exciting season, one in which we can challenge for that Pac-12 championship and move into the tournament and advance. That's always our goal, and one of these days we're going to get all the way to that last weekend. And that's, I think, the thing that burns inside of our program right now. So thank you for everything. I tell you what, I will take maybe 2 or 3 questions before Rich comes up. If you have any.
Yeah, obviously the loss of Grant Jarrett really hurts. Where do you see Aaron Gordon fitting in the offense? And also, what do you see as our identity on offense? There were times this year where we had trouble scoring, and then later in the year, I noticed you guys started pushing the ball a little bit more. Not to say that you want to be a running team, you just want to go from one thing to another, but I did notice.
Do you have answers or questions? What do you do? Well, tell me what you do for a living.
I play basketball up in Montana.
Okay, you want me to tell you about Montana? I've never been there, but I'll tell you about it. But to answer your question, Aaron Gordon's a really talented player and great kid. I think you'll find his versatility will be what he brings to the table. We can play him just about anywhere, and he's got a motor that I think is something that everybody loves, and he's going to add great value. In terms of our scoring, we were the 2nd highest scoring team in the conference, and I think, great players allow you to score points, and we have a football coach who really knows how to do that. So if you get bored watching me, go to his game. He scores. Got one more question? Yep. Academics are very, very important. To me, it's about developing both the student and the athlete. Sometimes in college basketball right now, that's lost in the shuffle because so many of these young, talented players leave before the end of their career. But, Grant Jarrett left in great academic standing. He has a long way to go to get his college education, but he was on course. And, the one thing that I'll tell you is when you have a senior, next year Jordan Mays will be our 1 senior. He's on track to graduate, and I've never coached a senior that has not graduated. I think after Solomon and Kevin graduate, that'll be 27 in a row. But academics is important, and that'll never be compromised. Certainly there's no excuse when you move through a place like Arizona, the University of Arizona, with all the resources we have, that our players should always be moving towards that direction. And in a lot of cases, maybe they'll return back to school when their professional career ends. Derek Williams, for example, has continued to work towards his degree, and I think he'll set the tone for a lot of other guys like him. Well, thank you. Thanks a lot.
We're going to get your raffle tickets out real quick. Coach Miller's going to draw one of the raffle tickets for an autographed basketball. He's even going to sign it for you tonight, too.
Enrique Valenzuela.
All right, Enrique. All right, sounds good. All right, thanks, Coach Miller.